Thanks.
Cheers. Episode 22. Congratulations.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
Stop it. Stop it. You need to tell the story.
So we welcome back if you've been with us. We are on all the platforms, which is really exciting. You did all that.
Very
so that
exciting.
was great. We're on Spotify.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts.
Anywhere you get your podcasts.
iHeartRadio. Yeah, there has to be a theme. So we're everywhere, which is great. Not that anyone's listening to it, but we're there.
We did. I did. I thought it was pretty cool. I told everybody I knew that the little picture came up. I'm like, look
Look
you
at
follow
us.
them, it'll come
Look
up
at us. It's
next.
great. And I think what we learned from that, normally we were watching the podcast when they would go up on YouTube and we were here. And so when you see us talking, it feels like coffee and a conversation. So
Right.
when we interrupt each other
It
or
seems normal.
agree, we're very agreeable.
We are.
You'll say something and I'll be like, yes.
Yes. Yes.
And I'll say something, you'll be like, right. And so we're so agreeable and so encouraging to one another. And when we see each other doing it, it's good.
But it's slightly irritating when you listen to it.
Really irritating when you just hear the voices and we're talking over each other. The one got me at the last one I listened to it. We were laughing so hard because literally you said right. And I said yes. It was when we had Pastor Olson. So we had a third person we were interviewing. You said right, and I said yes, and he was still talking. So when I slowed it down, it went, like we were all
three
talking.
of us.
And I was like, oh, that's terrible. So
We're working on our professionalism.
if you
Maybe.
see us each go, it's to remind us to not try to talk over each other.
I don't think I can even do it.
I
It's
know.
going to be so hard.
It's going to be hard.
I'm just going to be like holding my mug with like, okay, she's talking. I'm going to be so focused on trying to not talk that I'm not even going to know what you said.
Well, and we don't want to ruin, like you said. I mean, the whole point of this is that it's coffee and conversation. And if you get a bunch of women around the table, we are going to talk over each other and we are going to agree and be like, yeah, that's right. That's good.
Yeah, we're rah-rah.
So when you're watching us, it makes sense. So I guess what we're saying is if you're just listening to us,
Right. We would love feedback about that.
turn the volume down.
Right.
I don't know if you can.
3x.
I don't know how you do it. So we're going to work on it and hopefully get better.
We'll try to be a little clearer. We enunciate, but we'll
Yep.
try to keep our yeses and our right. But sometimes we do need to say, I agree with you.
Yes.
Right?
Right. Okay, so we really got to work on that.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at. So it's exciting
But
that
we're-
we're on all the platforms though.
Yeah,
which is
no,
great.
it is. It's super exciting, which is getting ready for us to sort of take a few weeks off in October.
So where are we at? Why don't you tell everybody where we're at in the process?
What do you mean?
What, our last session, we're going to take a break. We're gonna, all
yes. We're, yes,
This is gonna
we
be so
are.
hard.
I know, this is terrible. So we're in our last session for this season, and so then in October we're going to sort of take a retreat, make some plans, maybe look at some merchandise, and maybe look at a website and some of those things that make us sort of a little bit more official. But we're going to wrap with hope. You have some thoughts on hope. We've both experienced some stressors of hope in the last couple of months.
Some hope and some hopelessness.
Yes.
Right? Like we've seen them both. So
And the angry Psalms have helped both
Helped
of us.
us.
So, God doesn't let us just cruise through lightly. We have to do the work that everybody else is doing and bringing it to everybody. I think it's important that we share that we're also going through some of the same stuff. If you really dig into this, it's hard.
it is hard. It is hard.
It's hard. So
Also comical.
it is comical.
Like-
I think without you helping me laugh about it, I would probably. There isn't anybody else that I have that actually can dig in
Yeah.
and laugh about the same stuff that I laugh about when it comes to these things.
I agree. It is
just very-
therapeutic.
Uh-huh.
Even in the midst of the hopelessness that we've experienced over the last month. Just if we look quickly, let alone life. It is somewhat comical when you begin to share it with somebody, even in the midst of the anger or the frustration. Then there is a place where you can kind of go, oh yeah, that's a mess, and we're a mess, and we're misfits. And in that camaraderie, I think is what helps me find hope in a hopeless situation,
Agreed.
which is great.
Did I
right?
say agree?
Agree?
Agreed.
What was the first thing? The first few episodes, we kept saying something that we kept catching ourselves. What? Oh, I think.
We
We were so
still
thinking.
say it.
We do
we
say
are
think,
thinkers.
but we are
think a lot.
thinkers that are right. Yes. Yes, we
Yes,
are.
we are.
We're
Yes, we
positive,
are.
right thinkers.
This is going to ruin the whole flow. We have to, I don't know if I can even do this.
All right.
But I think you are right that
You were thinking
I'm
right. in the
thinking
same
right
sentence.
that it does help.
Yes.
It's sort of like you take it out of the darkness, and I was pissy
Yeah.
this week.
Yes, you were.
I was pissy this week.
Good.
And I didn't want to talk about it. Like Rodney's like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yes." Like I was just holding it all in, and I didn't want to kneel down and pray before I went to bed. I didn't want to kneel down and pray when I got up. I know I can go to the angry Psalms, and I was like, "No, I'm not doing that.
I'm not even going to them."
I'm mad at God. I'm not going to do that." So it did help yesterday when I ran into you and you said, "It's going to be okay."
It's going to be okay. We're going to
And
laugh
luckily
about
we're
it.
not like
Right.
both down at the same time
Yeah.
for the most part. I mean, sometimes we have some of the same stuff, but it's
Wouldn't
God
that be an
does
episode?
God does sort of spread it out a little bit.
The episode that you and I both cry on,
Yeah,
we're
this
just
is
hanging
bad.
it up.
Right.
So.
Yeah. We didn't record yesterday because I might have
No. Yeah,
cried.
there.
Might have, gotten rid of
Said
all of
some
our
curse
followers.
words. So, anyways, here we are.
Yeah.
We're on Hope.
We're on
It
Hope.
is our last theme of season 1, which if you've gone back and listened to it, we had lots of conversations about what a season consists of. But we are ending season 1 on hope. And I think that's important to know that our heartbeat for this podcast was to bring joy and to bring hope and to bring coffee and conversation and camaraderie to a demographic of women who are so busy they might not have time otherwise to do it. And so we hope you feel like you're part of us, like you're sitting here with us and you're laughing and crying and swearing and being angry and hopeful all at
And
the same time.
knowing it's all okay.
It's okay.
And the Psalms
That's right.
told us.
They did
it
tell
was
us that.
all okay. I listened to us talking about the Psalms and I was like, it's true. Like they are sort of bipolar.
They are.
So
They give
it did make it like all those emotions are okay, and God knows I'm not hiding them. So I think yes, that is what we're here for, and I think the 4 to 1, right?
Yes, it's mathematical, but
It's equation, but whatever. And it's numbers, and we're analytical people,
Like
but whatever. It is. I mean, it's a ratio of how our life really is. I mean, you can have those down moments, but if you really, look at your life, there's so much more to be grateful for than there is to be hopeless about, right? And there's so much more to be hopeful for than there is to be ungrateful about.
Right.
So
And that's what we want you guys to feel.
Right.
So
Hopefully
we're
you walked
ending
away
on
with that.
hope.
We're
And
ending
we're
on
ending
hope.
high. We're ending on hope. And then,
And
like
hope
you said,
in the Lord.
Hope in the Lord. That's exactly it. Which that will be the end of it all. Is really just pushing you to Jesus. If we're not pushing you to Jesus, then there's no point in doing this.
Right.
Right. And then we're going to take the break, and we're going to reload for season 2.
Season 2.
Which in a million years, when we started talking about this, could you imagine us saying we're going to take a retreat?
Somebody asked us to come speak at a conference. I mean,
So fun.
seriously,
So
about
fun.
work and
God,
faith
it's so
and
good.
women. I was like, I don't know. We'll have to check our schedule. I was like, next July.
We might be recording in the back
I
of a
don't
coffee
know.
shop that day.
don't know where we might be. Let me get with Tammie and our producer, and we'll see what we
With
can
our
do.
assistant and program manager and see if we can fit that in.
We can get that.
I just think the fact that we're even talking about a season 2 is so fun. And so hopefully we have great topics to talk about for season 2. That's part of what we're
And
doing.
we would love any feedback,
Yeah.
actually, because we are going to take a 2 days of planning that we're going to go away, and we're going to go to South Carolina,
Yep,
to Braze Island, so
Bailey.
you can see it out, so
I
you can
can
check
see
it
it.
out. And really, we're gonna speak in front of a Bible study and include them, and then hopefully do some planning and some real self reflection.
So if there's something you want
yeah.
us to talk about, if
Let
there's
us
a
know.
topic, an idea that you think, just talk about grace, talk about faith, talk about Hannah in the Bible. I don't care what it is. Talk about marriage, talk about kids, talk about work, talk about
if there's
menopause.
something we haven't
I don't
covered.
care. Yeah, I mean,
margaritas. Let's talk about
menopause.
If we talk about menopause, we're having margaritas.
Yes,
Sorry.
for sure. So today though is Hope, and it is our
Hope.
life session. So tell me about your life. Why
Yeah,
were you so hopeless yesterday?
I know. I was so pissy. Things just were not going my way. I mean, really, that's what it was. It was like I had a plan. This is what my schedule was going to be. This is what I was doing. I was going to tell Ashley to get the dog on, Friday this week, and Andrew called, and there's a change of plans, and I was pissed about the whole thing, like for no good reason. Like it just. It's why we fight with others, right? Is because we don't get our way. And I was like, God, this is not what I had planned. And so it threw me for a whole loop. It really did. I didn't want to get dressed.
Can you pinpoint the day in the week where it went downhill for you?
It was Monday. It was
So
Monday.
Sunday, did you have a good day on Sunday? Was there
Yes,
like the
I was at
bipolar
SeaWorld.
schizophrenic, I had a great day on Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday I went to SeaWorld, and then I went to Aquatica with our grandson. And I got to be like a grandma and a mom and watch my kids like see all these things through their kid. And Alex was like, I was sort of teary about Henry watching the dolphin show, and he was so engaged. And I was like, I know, I was sort of teary watching you watch Henry. So no, it was like a wonderful mountaintop. I went on water slide and played with, so it was great. No, I came home, I'm like, it was the best weekend. It was great. I had a great weekend.
So were you tired, and that maybe
I think tired had
impacted,
something.
like
Tired,
you're
maybe.
out in the sun, it's crazy weather, it was a big weekend, you come home, you're tired, and then get the bad call, and maybe that made it worse?
I'm just probably that I just felt a little overwhelmed with, okay, I'm resetting, it's Sunday night, it's like, here we go. And I'm going to, my week is going to go like this. And then next weekend I travel again, but I've got, Pilates scheduled, and I've got this going on, so I should be okay. And the phone call just sort of threw me off. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Isn't that
I didn't say it that politely.
crazy how a phone call can make a difference? And again, we're minimizing this trauma.
Right.
I mean, this was like
ridiculous.
nothing.
No,
in
it's
comparison.
ridiculous. Right.
But
this isn't nobody's
right.
This changed
Nothing.
my
really.
schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all it was about.
So minimal. But it's still a phone call, which that is to me where.
And it had to do with the kid.
It's always the kids.
So that,
Not always, but a lot of times the kids.
And he wouldn't want me to share the story, but someday. But it was like I was also feeling the emotion of, oh shoot,
One of my kids.
He feels let down. He feels like, and then I have to worry, like, is he okay? Do I need to worry about, so that is certainly in it. But when I look back, that wasn't any different than it was 2 hours before.
Right.
It was just, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like my whole day is disrupted. Now I got to get a flight. I got to get a car. I got to get, where am I going to stay? Is Rodney coming with me? What are we going to do with the dog? Right? It was ridiculous.
So sometimes the frustration and hopelessness is really selfish.
100%.
Right? Like that inconvenienced me, and now it's making me worry and me stress, and that's going to impact me.
Yeah, it was me. It was
Right.
The whole
I
thing
look
was
at that.
me.
A lot of the things that I get frustrated with are because it's inconveniencing me.
Changed my whole.
Yeah.
Well, and it didn't go according to my plan.
Right.
I mean, that's the biggest thing is
I had a
beyond even inconvenience, it did not go according to the way I planned it.
So as we were talking about in the Psalms, especially how there are different personalities, and there are the creatives, I call them, which I don't know the right terminology, right-brained, all the stuff. It would be interesting, again, you and I come at things very similar, so we see things, but if we were sitting here with a creative, a right-brained person who doesn't have plans as much, I wonder if they get as frazzled when a phone call comes in like that. Or if
Probably
their
not.
frazzledness comes from
I would say probably not.
different
right?
things.
Because we sort of live and die by our calendar, right? It's like, oh, I have to be there because my calendar says I have to be there. So I think that was a big part of it, is like, I have got to undo so much to be able to change this, and I sound so ridiculous as I'm even
you
saying
say
this.
it.
I mean, it's so ridiculous,
so-
but it threw me. It just, and so I felt like really, I was just sort of mad that God didn't want to do it my way.
You want it right
Really.
now.
I mean, I'm embarrassed to say that, but that's how I felt.
Well,
So I'm over it today. I
That's
wore
good.
green so that I could be perky today. Yeah.
So-
And I'm like, just like God does. So one of the things I had to do was drive to Tallahassee to get Andrew's dog. So I have to plan my day yesterday, can't podcast, the whole thing. And so I have to drive to Tallahassee by myself, so with a dog on the way back. So I have 6 hours in the car by myself to listen to us talking about the Psalms.
right.
And
And over talking.
and
each
over
other.
talking about the Psalms. But I listened to another podcast. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so pathetic.
Right.
Like I cannot believe. Like only God would put me in
A 6-hour car ride.
A 6-hour car ride, listening to the two of us and to everybody else talking about God and His mercy and how great God is and da 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 da. And I'm like, I am so
All right,
like,
Lord, I suck.
whatever. I get it. I mean, it's like this morning. I mean, I was like smacked. I rolled out of bed onto my knees. I didn't even pee first.
Right.
And I was like, Lord,
Right,
I'm
Lord.
so sorry. Forgive me. I totally messed this up. I know better. And I just let go of you for a minute, and I know, like, you're just reminding me that I can't do it without you. So, yes, it was.
And He
Only God would put me in a car for 6
you
hours.
in that space. I was
Yes.
talking with my mother-in-law actually yesterday. We were talking about some things, and she was really wrestling with some decisions in her life early on that she feels like some of her current situation, which isn't great, is a result of bad decisions she made earlier. And her earlier decisions were pre-Jesus. She didn't know Jesus in the same way then. So she made some really bad decisions pre-Jesus. And she's holding on to things aren't going well now because God's kind of whammying me on
Because of it.
decisions
Got it.
that I made back when. And so she was really wrestling with it. And we were talking a lot yesterday about how, God is so good. He loves us so much that even when we make mistakes, if we come to Him on our knees and just say, oh man, Lord, I'm so sorry.
right.
There I go again.
Yes.
It's almost like you can visualize God just kind of puffing up, going, it's okay. Like, I know
Like you would do with
Like
your
you would do with your
kids.
kids. Like when your kid screws up and they come home and go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Your response isn't, I know, idiot. Seriously, get it together.
Get it together.
Like, you get there sometimes with other things, which there's times when God has to do that test. But for the most part, when you are repentive in that posture, He just, he knows you. So He knows what ticks you off and gets you ticked. And He's not surprised when you're pouting over, my schedule got changed. Doesn't make it right, but He,
But I also
loves
think
you
He
in
says,
it.
or we got to tweak you. Remember, like it's very easy for you. It always comes at a time when you're sort of, I don't want to say a mountaintop moment, but I mean where you're just like, wow, like I'm, studying the Bible, a podcast, we're doing our thing. Like you're just sort of like, oh, this is, and then you just all of a sudden you get this little thing, and you're just think, okay, God, I needed a little kick in the pants, and
How quickly we can go from here to here.
we do.
Over stupid stuff.
Over stupid stuff.
Stupid
and
stuff.
like from one minute to the next. I mean,
Literally.
I am embarrassed to say.
Yeah, literally.
But I do know, like, God never stops chasing me.
Right.
Because, I mean, Jesus in my heart, like He knows where I want to be, and it's just sometimes we have to have little reminders.
And there's no condemnation in
There's
that.
no condemnation in
We can
that.
get better,
So,
but there's no condemnation.
Yes.
So that's good. Hope,
hope.
hope, hope.
So I'm back in the hope train today.
That's good.
Yeah, 4-1.
good.
So
4-1.
I might won this week. So it's
Yeah,
gonna-
you're like, I'm out. That's all I get. I get no more.
Great rest
I got
of the
one
week.
bad day. I'm good. So,
Great.
that's
So how
great.
about you? What's happening in your?
And opposite, I think my difficulty was a couple weeks ago, which is what led me to the angry Psalms we talked about. And I was in there I didn't just have a day. I was in there for a bit. I was fired up for a while. And I think that's why I asked you too about sleep, because when I was in my funk for a couple of weeks, I was at a point where I just needed a break in life. And I hadn't had it. I mean, and again, it's the life cycle of life work. Like we go really hard from October to May. I mean, it's crazy, different cycles, but we go really hard. And usually I take a break in June because it's just when I either go away for a vacation or something. And I didn't get that this year, just timing.
Because you went away and you did your retreat.
I did a retreat, so it was a work away. And so and it was Sean and I's 30th anniversary. So we planned our trip in August later. So I knew it was coming. But just those 2 months of extra hard work without a little bit of a break, I think I was just at a point where, you know, I always say I go really good for a while and then all of a sudden there's an implosion. And that's what it felt like. So
Like
a couple of
hits a
weeks
wall.
ago, I just was like, oh, and everything, you know, seemed more overwhelming. I was tired, I was exhausted, and it seemed overwhelming.
There's a lot of that. I mean, I think it's a lot of it is just go, 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 go. And all of a sudden, you know, you just hit a wall sort of, and you're like, okay, here we go. But I will say, like, what I didn't want to do is go to my Bible and sit in the Word.
No.
I wanted to watch a cheesy movie with, you know, a vodka.
I don't even want to watch cheesy movies when I get like that. I want to watch like violent movies. Like I get aggressive. Like I need to go punch a heavy bag when I'm mad. I need to watch a violent movie and I need to get out the. I don't want to cry. I don't want to see happy love sappy stories at that moment because I'm like, y'all suck. Like I want violent, angry.
I just want something that will take me away. And sometimes I I watched a movie Monday night, like an hour and a half movie in 45 minutes because I was just like, I don't really care what you people are feeling. I just want to get like what's going to happen. Okay, so great. It was like the map that leads you to me or something. The map that leads you. It was on, never heard Amazon or something. And I was like
That's funny. Yeah.
So it was. I didn't even care what it was. It was just
take your brain.
like I had to get my brain out of it.
I definitely do that. There are times I just need to watch something.
Which is sort of sad. Like, why wouldn't I go to the Lord?
Right. Well, because thankfully, I think we've both walked with the Lord long enough to know that if I go to the Lord, I have to deal with this is on me. And I don't want to deal with this on me
Michael
for a
told
while.
us, you know. This is what he said to us.
I don't want to recognize that
when you
I'm
go
the
to the
one.
Psalms, you have to deal with what's inside.
Right.
And
And
that's why
I have to be in the right place to be able to feel the conviction of the Lord. And there are truly times where you're just like, I'm just not ready for that.
Yeah.
And God knows that.
God knows that.
He
Yeah,
knows
I
that.
felt like that's how I felt. Like I'm not running in the opposite direction.
I'm not.
I was just like, I just need to,
Yeah.
which is probably part of what led to the continued down.
Of course, because if we would just...
If I'd stopped it there and said, Lord, what's going on? But instead I was like, Lord, where are you doing this?
We just talked about this with the kids. We had kids in this weekend and we were talking about how hard it is to hold guilt when you as the kid know you're doing something wrong and you don't tell your parents. And then all of a sudden it explodes, or anything, when you're living a lie. And it is so hard to hold that in. When you eventually just get it out and say, I've screwed up, this is what's happening, you know, I did this.
Yeah.
As terrible as it is, you instantly are like, oh, because you just got it off your chest.
That's what happened to me yesterday.
And as soon as you lean into Jesus, you do feel better. But why we resist leaning into him right away, I don't know.
I don't either.
Like,
but I mean, you did yesterday give me some Jesus and go, okay, great, see ya. Why don't you go to Tallahassee now? Right? You were just like graceful about that, which, you know, you didn't say pull out your Bible. You didn't say anything. You just said, here's the grace of Jesus. It sucks. Go do your thing. It's going to be fine. We'll record tomorrow, which is demonstrating what the Lord would do.
Right.
So you didn't really have to say that, but you did point me in that direction. And so, you know, Lord took care of the podcast.
He does
I don't know.
that.
He can control my podcast, but.
So I had my a couple weeks ago, which then on the other side, I've had 2 weeks of just highs. Yeah. You know, so it is that ebb and flow. I mean, I had a couple weeks that was really bad, but recently, I mean, I got to go to Dallas with one of my employees here for a work trip, and we just added a few days on it because I think we needed some time away. So we got to do Fort Worth Stockyards, which I had never done, which was hot, but super fun. We did Magnolia Farms.
I saw that.
Which was super fun.
Wear your cowboy boots.
Have you gone to Magnolia
No.
Farms?
I was with Andrew when I'm in Texas.
So,
What's the
look,
coffee
I'm
shop
hard
called?
to say. It's the farm or something. I don't know. The Knot or
the Brute.
I forget what it's
Yeah.
called. So disappointed.
Really?
I mean,
I did not expect you to say that.
I'm sorry, I'm like, because in case they're listening.
Oh yeah, Joanna, we're sorry.
We're sorry,
Joanna
your place
Gaines.
sucks.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed.
You had just built it up, you think?
I think we built it up in our mind, like it's going to be this place. And so we were in Dallas, so we rented a car and we drove down. And truthfully, like I literally would have made a girls' weekend out of this at one point. Like I kept saying,
Right.
"Oh, girls' weekend,
Yeah,
we're going to
we're
go
going.
Waco and we're going to do the tour and all this stuff."
kidding.
And so when Marsha and I were there, we're like, "Okay, we're so close. Well, let's just take a day." So we took the day. I maybe needed an hour. It was. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm going to be so mean. If anybody from Waco hears this, Waco might be the ugliest town I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
And Baylor's there, and I am a
Baylor's
little bit
beautiful.
No, have you been to Baylor?
I have. I thought Baylor was really pretty.
The ugliest college I think I've ever seen. Like,
Okay, so we have different
I
opinions.
love colleges. Colleges are usually like. There's at least like a stately entrance, and it's well
No, there's
landscaped,
definitely not
and
that.
it's
Like off the interstate.
and it's just
Yeah.
blah.
No,
it was,
that is true.
I mean, I think academically and the
No,
institution
I
itself
thought some
is
of the
good.
buildings were sort of cool. You didn't.
There were no cool buildings. One building that I was like, okay, maybe. I mean, it was so ugly
Nondescript.
of a town. I was so surprised. So then I thought, okay,
Andrew was going to go there. That's why we went
I
there.
thought my
And
kids
I'm
were
like,
gonna-
we
Yeah.
can go see
you don't need to.
the whole Magnolia
You
thing.
don't need to. The little block that they've turned into Magnolia Farms with the silos, like that's the big thing. That block, it wasn't even a block, that
section. Or
section
whatever it is,
was beautiful and very much Magnolia Farmish. I mean, it was very beautiful. Like, there's nothing in the silos. You don't go in them, you don't see, it's just there. So that was a disappointment because I was like, well, you've got these big, beautiful things, you didn't do anything with them. Can't go in them, they're just there.
There.
And then you go in the shops and it was all her stuff, which is
Yeah,
nice.
which is
But
nice.
it was, okay, I
Was
can
it
see that
Target?
online.
Is it
Right,
Target?
it's a Target. Wait, so it was very much of like, So then we went
We
to the
are
coffee
so
shop.
not
I know,
going. We're not getting any more followers.
No, we're not. I'm sorry. We went into the coffee shop, good coffee. We had a French press we shared, which was very good. And then we're like, okay, we're going to do the tour of the houses because
Yes.
I want to see the
Right.
houses. I sound so judgmental. They did this originally. They started this to help Waco kind of get a facelift. So
Yes.
there had to be an expectation that Waco wasn't great because
Right.
we're going to take
No,
some of these
for
old
sure.
houses and fix them up.
Right.
So
That was the whole point.
that was the point.
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't realize that where they picked these houses, the neighborhoods they were in, are really kind of bad neighborhoods, right? I mean, of course. But then they put this beautiful home in the middle of like a not great neighborhood. And so now you're going to be spending more money on a home because the home is beautiful, but the neighborhood is not. And they didn't, like, it's almost like they should have done the whole block and then they could have transformed the block.
Right.
But
it
instead,
wasn't like, so it's spotty.
so there were 50 houses on this block that were terrible, and then they built a beautiful one in the middle. But I wouldn't have wanted to buy that house in the middle of all the rest because it didn't make the other ones better. Like,
Yeah.
they
It
were
didn't
still
change the
No.
neighborhood.
So then there was
Right.
just this beautiful house, and there were like hundreds of them. I mean, 50 of them. I don't know how many they've done. They've been doing it for 20 years or whatever. But you could go on the tour, and it was like that in most of them. Just they built a beautiful house in the middle of a neighborhood that I was
No.
like,
No.
disappointing.
Didn't know
Then their restaurant is completely
glad I
in a
didn't make
different
Andrew
location,
go.
and it's like a exit off the turnpike kind of a thing. And there's like truck stops and like, you know, what's a Arby's and a Wendy's and then Magnolia Farm restaurant in the middle of like a
Oh.
truck stop kind of a thing. And it wasn't even open. It's only open on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we couldn't even see in the
Restaurant.
So we both were like,
Okay.
disappointing. I said that to my daughter and she yelled at me. She's like, oh my gosh,
You
it was
can't say that.
beautiful. And I was like, all right, maybe it was. I missed it. I don't know.
Maybe you were not as
Maybe
high as you thought.
Maybe I was still in my.
Maybe you were still hopeless.
I didn't come out of it till after that.
Right.
So, but no, we had a great trip there, which was nice. We digressed. And then Sean and I got to go to Lake Tahoe for our 30th anniversary.
Oh yeah, tell us
And
about
that was just, all of it was good. Obviously, Lake Tahoe, I had not been, was just, I had no idea how beautiful. I mean, I'd heard it and I'd seen pictures, but when you were there, the weather was just absolutely perfect. And I don't think Sean and I have actually gone away like that by ourselves without kids.
Been a long time, I'm sure.
I mean, we went to Vegas once. And we're not gamblers. It was just,
Right.
it was a
It's
free,
just-
cheap
right.
vacation.
It's
We
right.
went for a long
It's
weekend.
inexpensive. They have good food.
Right. So we went for like 3 or 4 days without
That's
the
what
kids.
Rodney and I did that.
But this was like a week of just him and I. And I was so thankful. We've talked about this. I make our family vacation like I work. Like we just go, 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 go. So when we went
Right.
to Italy last year, we were in Italy for 10 days. I stayed in 6 different places.
Yeah.
So we were like 2 days,
Right.
2 days, Naples, you know, we'd go up
Yeah,
to Venice
that's what
and we
you-
just, we saw everything, but we just go
come
at
home
a
so
very
tired.
high speed.
Yeah.
And so I
We
did
do
the same
vacations
thing
like that.
with Tahoe. I was like, I'm only booking 3 days in Tahoe because then I'm going to go to California or something. So I didn't book the last couple of days because I thought I'm going to get out there and see where I want to go. And when we got to Tahoe, we both were like, let's just stay.
Nice.
Which is so unlike us.
right.
But we did. We just
'Cause
stayed.
Sean's an adventurer
Sean's
too.
me too. He's
Yeah.
like, let's go. Like, that's
find-
just how we
what
do
are we
it.
going to go see?
And we didn't. We just stayed in Tahoe.
So you like hiked
We
and
hiked
ate
and we biked and we kayaked and we walked and we slept in
Yeah,
and
nice.
we got into the hotel room one night and it was like 8 o'clock and we're like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna go to bed. I just didn't. It was,
Nice.
and even the
And the
gambling
air was cool.
Oh, the air, the weather was perfect, and even gambling. I'm not a big gambler, but I love to like take a $50 bill for the night and just be like, when it's gone, it's gone. But I think I can be here all night on $50. And my goal is to how long can I stay there without losing it.
Uh-huh.
And so I kept saying, we got to go to the casino. I did not do not one game, not one slot machine.
You
The whole
were
week.
just totally chill.
Because we were that chill.
Nice.
It was
Good for
fabulous. And so I was like, this. And it took me a couple days to really come
Wind
down.
down. Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, by like day 4, I was kind of like, oh.
Retirement is not biblical,
That's
but
right. I literally showed them and I'm like, we should get an RV. And I mean, all the thoughts. But so it was
why
a
do we do that? It's so
fabulous,
funny.
fabulous
I
vacation.
think I could live at Aquatica in SeaWorld.
And it's the reality, I think, too, as busy as we are here with work, when there was no service there. Like we were in the mountains. I mean, there
are
really
gonna
wasn't
love
service.
when we go to Braze.
So it was wonderful to just be with Sean.
Yeah.
30 years. I mean, what a blessing.
That is amazing.
That is. I mean, we have literally been married 30 years and we dated for almost 6 years before. So Sean and I have
that's
been
great.
together a long time.
Isn't, but like that is the thing about hope that we sometimes forget. Like you guys have had disagreements and fights and the whole thing,
gosh, yeah.
and you've sort of been hopeless about it. Like Roger, you get in those places just about that circumstance, and then you look back and you think 30 years.
30 years.
Like you don't even remember those. Talk about 4 to 1. It's more like 20 to 1.
20 to 1. Yep.
You know, it's
Oh, that's
40
so
to
true.
1. So like it is as you have the opportunity to reflect on something like that, that is what makes it so special, is that you're just total downtime to just talk to each other and have conversations about each other and get past all the kid crap that you have to talk about and just
And we
sort
did.
of be.
We did. We
There's
went on
something
bike
fun.
rides and didn't talk.
Yeah.
And it was okay. So it was a great. So I've been at a very high. We had a great trip to Dallas,
That's
a
nice.
great trip to Tahoe. My kids all came home this weekend, so that always makes it great when
Yes.
all the kids were home. And so 3
So you
weeks
came
ago,
home
I
to
was
all the
hopeless.
kids?
I came home to all the kids.
Ah, nice.
Well, I mean, hit or miss. Bailey came in. Cannon's still here.
Yeah.
And then we met Creed. We
Yeah.
did it.
So you got-
so I got all the kids. Like I came
After
home and
your-
I got all the kids
That's
for a
fun.
moment.
That's
so it
really
was
fun.
like hi. And then you wake up and go, oh, I got to open my emails. I was like, oh, that
So
just
true.
dropped me. Almost to the point that you think, gosh, it's almost so hard to go away because coming back.
Yeah, especially because
very
you were
hard.
really out of touch.
Like, I was out.
I mean, you said before you went, I'm not taking my computer.
I
I'm
did
not.
not.
And it does make it very difficult to come back and jump right back in. I always like to say, we'll come back on Saturday so that I have Sunday to sort of just regroup and get laundry done and just like food and everything, because otherwise it's like 2 weeks that you're crazed.
We said that, and then we got stuck.
Yeah,
the flight.
right.
So we tried, but Sean and I both said that we have got to do a better job of just giving ourselves time coming back to re-engage,
Yeah.
especially this, because between Dallas and then Tahoe and all the stuff, I've been out really
Yeah.
for almost 3 weeks, and that's a long time to be out of pocket with work to then come back. So I'm now coming back to the ugh.
Right.
But
Right. Well, the best part about it is that everything stayed and everything
did.
functioned. And
It did.
you know, I talked about Cup of Joke today, and I was like, so Tammie was gone for 10 days. How'd you do? And it was like, I was scared, but it was great. So look what you're doing. You're teaching your
Stayed
managers
open.
all these
Everybody
things.
did good.
I know. That was the other thing that pissed me off yesterday, is that I'm like, great, now I'm not going to be at work for,
Right. I
3
gotta
days
miss
this
work.
week. What the heck? And not one single person at work cares. They're
That
like,
was it.
no problem, bye. And I'm like,
I didn't get one call. I didn't
yeah,
get one text.
they won't call me, they won't do anything.
So that's a blessing. So it was good.
Which is a blessing,
It is. It's good.
even though it feels like neglect.
Sure you don't need me calling. Are you sure you don't want me?
I'm just kidding.
I feel
It's
needed.
amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
it is. But we talked about that back in management, that it is amazing.
And
that
Sean
you
didn't get
even
that.
can do that.
His job where he's currently at, he could not shut it down. As much as he tried, he could not shut it down.
Is that a role reversal for you guys?
It is.
Yeah.
It is a big role reversal.
Uh-huh.
And so, like night 2, I was like, listen, it's our anniversary, and I get it. It's a big job. You're changing campuses. All the stuff's
is a big-
happening this week. I get it. Bad timing. We didn't know it, but we committed to do this. Like, we got to figure this out. And so we had a talk and he said, okay, I'll get up earlier in the morning, and I'll give myself a couple hours in
with
the
the time
morning
change,
with the
that-
time change.
okay.
So he said the first day we went and saw the sunrise together, because we were up at 4 because of the time change. So we're like, we saw the sunrise and it was great. And then I said, okay, I'll give you the mornings, and I'm going to just go get a coffee and sit by myself and do my, quiet time and just reflect myself. And so he took the mornings to work, and then by a certain time he was like, I'm going to try to shut it down. And he did well, but there were just certain things. They didn't leave him alone.
Yeah.
Which that was like, come on, guys.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I think you
I
can
think,
figure this
though,
out
you
without
did a
him.
really good job of preparing everybody, that you were like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And he maybe felt like he couldn't do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure
given
if
the
he's been there long
transition.
enough yet
Yeah.
to feel that. And
But
it was a
it's-
bad time for his work.
Right, with all he's got going.
we
But
still-
I will say, Rodney and I are having some role reversal moments, which is also strange.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm traveling and he's staying home, and he's home base, and I'm the one moving, and so it's interesting to.
Yeah. It is a real role reversal.
Yeah, I thought
Because I was always the worker, and not that he wasn't a worker, but his
could
old
shut it
job,
down.
he could,
Yeah.
when he wasn't at the school, he wasn't at the
I'm
school.
gone.
There,
I'm
I'm
done.
out. So
Right.
nobody bothered him.
Yeah,
This
it does
job-
make you appreciate the other person.
Yeah.
Right, like it does make me appreciate all the travel that Rodney did when he was working, and I would be like, "Hello, I'm like holding down the fort here with 5 kids, and working and and like, why aren't you coming home rested?
Right.
You've been you've been
on vacation.
traveling, you've been in a hotel for God's sake, you can sleep
Yep.
24
It's
hours,
true.
and so it does make you appreciate that." The other person it's harder than it looks.
It
maybe.
is. It really is.
So, all right, you want to talk about a few hope things?
Yeah,
Since we're
so
all caught
hope.
up on
Now
our
we're all
life.
caught up on life. Kids are good. Everybody's good. So
Yeah.
yeah, hope. I went around and because I had everybody at my house this
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
The kids were
Took a
there. Sean was
poll.
there. My mother-in-law was in town because she watched Cannon while we were in Tahoe. So not watch Cannon. He's an adult, but she was there to help because of his arm. Anyways,
How is his arm?
good. He's getting there. He goes back next week to see if he can start using it.
Okay, like
So-
he'll have to go to some PT and stuff.
He's been at PT.
Oh, okay.
But he
Okay.
can't lift anything more than a piece of paper. So he can't go back to work because he can't lift anything yet. So
geez,
we're
yeah.
hoping by next week he can get clear. But he's doing well.
Okay, good.
But I got to ask everybody. I was like, so give me a definition of hope.
Mm-hmm.
It really was interesting for me to think, I think I know what hope is, but I wondered what everybody else thought it was.
And your adult children.
My adult children. So here's some of the words, and it was pretty consistent. Confident anticipation. Somebody said an assured anticipation, so like a guaranteed kind of anticipation. Confidence that things will be okay. Trusting God, positive attitude, which we talked about that a lot as a family. Whoever said it, I forget who said that one. But does hope have to have a positive attitude? Or can you be hopeful with a negative attitude? And we kind of disagreed on it a little bit because a couple of them were like, you could be negative. And I was like, can you? So that, we'll have to talk about it. It was an interesting conversation.
I think it's pretty hard to be. I think you can be bipolar, because we've seen them. But like you could be not hopeful one minute and hopeful the next minute. But I don't know if you could be
in the hopeful.
In the moment, I don't think you can be
where I
hopefully.
landed.
Right, that's why we're here.
But they kind of kicked back and said, they went to the verse that's like, rejoice in suffering or be joyful in suffering. So there is a little bit of a theological concept that even in the midst of trial, you can be joyful. So can you be hopeful with negative? And we can talk about it. I push back again because I was like,
it depends on what the negative attitude is, because you can have a positive attitude in a negative circumstance.
Right. That's where I.
But I don't think you can have a negative.
So much alike.
I know you don't have. I think you can have a negative attitude.
I think if you have a negative attitude, you're not hopeful.
Right. Yeah. No,
that's how I am. I'm like, that's just a blank.
Circumstantially, I think you can be in a desperate situation and still have hope.
But if you're negative, I don't think you're hopeful then at that moment.
No.
So
yeah, agreed. Fine. High five.
We don't have
We're
to
right. We're right. Whatever.
Right.
I don't know what the Bible says, but whatever.
We went to Hebrews 11:1, which is such a great verse. Faith is hope, basically, is what Hebrews says, and it's the understanding of something you can't see yet, and that's hope. But that is what faith is. So there is a real correlation between our faith and hope. If we have a strong faith, then there should be hope. And if we are an overwhelmingly hopeless person, then there has to be something in us that checks our faith. I'm not saying that you don't have a faith, but Hebrews says faith is the substance, that's the core of things we hope for, the evidence of things we've not seen. So somehow our hope is tied into our faith. And
because hope is unseen.
Because hope is unseen.
Because hope is unseen. I mean, I think there's a trust in hope, like there's a trust in faith. Yeah.
So I think there's a correlation. They did good. They did good. So there is a correlation between faith and hope that I think is really important.
Yes, agreed.
Strong confidence. So those were all some definitions. We went to verses that we leaned into with hope. Proverbs 13:12, which is one of my favorite. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. Just speaks to the power of hope. Romans 12:12, be joyful in hope. Which that we could pick apart a little bit. Is there a way then to not be joyful in hope? And so we went down a path with some of this, which I think we can break down in our lessons. I thought it was interesting. But we really, as a conversation among all of us there, leaned into the hope deferred makes the heart sick, and we leaned into the deferment of hope and talked about specifically Joseph and David. And the two things we really leaned into is Joseph had a promise, and he had to wait 23 years until it came to pass. And same with David. David, when Samuel told him he's going to be the king, he had to wait 15 years before that came to pass. So there really was this idea of hope deferred, and culturally we're so instantaneous. Just, what we're talking about. Like, I can't be bad for a day, I got to be better. Or I can't be, it's...
Do you think, and we don't have to address this today, but like how many times they might have doubted that?
Oh. Look at the Psalms.
That's true.
Half of the Psalms David wrote was in this 15-year period of deferment when he's like, woe is me. Yeah. So he definitely had the emotional roller coaster going from highs and lows in that process.
We don't know what Joseph did we?
Joseph is one of the 2 or 3 characters in the Bible that we don't know anything negative about.
Yeah.
There's nothing negative said about Joseph.
Yeah.
That's not to say it didn't happen, but it's just not in Scripture.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he had a bad day.
Right, exactly.
But we don't know
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there's a few. Daniel, Joseph, Joshua maybe is the third. I think there's 3 that we just don't have any negative words, no bad circumstances, no. Again, we know it happened, but
Of course, you're right.
we don't know it in Scripture.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
so that was some of
we're
our
gonna
hope.
dive into some of
We're gonna
those,
dive into some of
right?
that. That was
And
kind of my
talk about-
overview of like, let's talk about
Yeah.
hope. So,
And there's hope in, I looked at it from hope in so many things, hope in God's timing, hope in the promise, hope in mercy, and in prayer, in providence, right? Not so much, but really focusing on like, there is a hope in Jesus. And that's where every single one of these people that we study in the Bible lands is we have to have that part. So we'll dive into all that, right?
Good.
Very exciting. Okay.
So I'm glad we caught up on life.
Yes, thank you.
Intro, hope. Next session, next podcast will be
Lesson.
hope lesson. So we're each going to pick a character. We kind of decided. So if you're riding along this journey with us, kind of maybe in the next week, think of a character in the Bible that you think emanates hope, and then we'll discuss that character.
Okay.
So that's where we're at.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time choosing.
Which will be fun to talk about
Which will
next
be
week. Because
fun.
I had somebody that I instantly went to, my mind went to a
Yeah.
person, and then when I actually read it, I was like, huh.
Did you
huh.
reread that yet?
I did.
And you
I
think
still
that?
think
Okay.
we're misusing that person the
Yeah.
way that we talk about. So that'll be a fun
Okay,
conversation.
Because I was the themes of promise, timing, Messiah, mercy, and stuff was also a driver. So we can address some of those a little bit too and see with our characters.
Our characters.
Okay,
I'm excited.
all right.
All right.
Congratulations. There we go.
22
in
down.
the books.